Welcome to the Nicholas 11x12 technology. Today we're looking at the DeepCool Quanta DQ1250 1250 watt 80 plus platinum certified power supply. A power supply that can handle really extreme loads. This PSU also comes with a double layer EMI filter that ensures a low level of electromagnetic interference. This is an enthusiast grade power supply, high end, but a price of 220 euros is a lot lower than most other PSUs offering that huge amount of wattage. Before I move on, I'd like to thank DeepCool for providing me this product and therefore making this review possible. In the box is the power supply itself, of course, the power cord, a bag with all the connector cables, 4 nice black screws, and a warranty card. The DeepCool Quanta DQ1250 should deliver 1250 watts of continuous power 24/7 at 50 degrees Celsius, and all that at an efficiency of 80 plus platinum. A 140mm PWM fan is used to cool this unit down. Of course, this PSU has an active PFC, that's power factor correction. The input voltage would be 100 to 240 volts. As you'd expect, it also comes with all the protections: over voltage protection, OVP, under voltage protection, UVP, over current protection, OCP, over temperature protection, OTP, short circuit protection, SCP, and over power protection, OPP. The DQ1250 PSU offers a powerful dual 12-volt rail with 45 amps on the first one and 65 amps on the second one. Therefore 540 watts on the first rail and 780 watts on the second one. The 3.3 volt and 5 volt rails both offer 25 amps and a combined power output of 150 watts. First of all, this is a pretty long power supply and I love that because it just looks beefier. Once again, to cool this unit down, a 140mm PWM fan is used here, and the golden colored grille looks amazing here. So does the DeepCool logo. Another thing I love about this PSU is the finish on the casing. This is what makes the PSU stand out compared to most other units. And wow, what a beauty of a power supply, it's gorgeous. As you probably can tell, the DQ1250 is pretty heavy as well. That normally is a good sign and stands for quality, but many manufacturers try cheating with the weight to make it look better. A little bit later we will take a close look at the internal components to see what kind of quality you can expect. On this side we get to see that nice DQ1250 Quanta label, and on the other side the power output table. As I've said before already, this PSU comes with two powerful 12-volt rails. On the rear are the honeycomb holes for ventilation, the AC power connection, and a nice big power switch. This is a semi-modular power supply. This means the most needed connectors are directly attached to the unit and you can't remove them. Right here are all the modular connections. I really like seeing the separated 12-volt rails here. The first rail with 45 amps is all for the peripherals. The second 12-volt rail with 65 amps is for the PCI Express connections. And that's perfectly balanced in my opinion, because high-end graphics cards are the ones that consume the most power. Now let's take a look at the attached cables of the PSU. There are 3 and they're all nicely braided. Here's the 20 plus 4-pin power connector, and here the two 8-pin ATX 12-volt CPU power connectors. These attached cables aren't the longest ones, but the length indeed is okay, and the cables were long enough for my Corsair Obsidian Series 900D Super Tower case, and that means a lot. With the help of the included ATX 12-volt cable extensions, you get additional length, and therefore I could easily route all the cables behind the motherboard tray for a nice clean system look. Now let's take a look at the rest of the cables. DeepCool kindly includes 2 ATX 12-volt cable extensions, just in case the cable that's attached to the PSU is too short for your case. Then what really impressed me was to see a separated floppy connector. You get one, but not on a SATA or Molex cable string. You have the possibility to plug it into a Molex connector in order to get a floppy connector. If you don't need a floppy connector, just forget about it and don't plug it in. That's a great decision of DeepCool in my opinion. Then there are 2 cables with 4 SATA power connectors and a single Molex power connector on each cable. You also get 2 more cables with 4 SATA power connectors only on each. As for Molex, here are 2 cables with 4 Molex power connectors on each cable. Then there are 2 cables with 1 PCIe 8-pin and 1 PCIe 6+2-pin power connectors on each cable. Last but not least, 4 cables with a single PCIe 6+2-pin power connector on each cable. As you can see, all these cables are black and flat, and that's the amazing flat ribbon cable design. I simply love these cables. As you can see, all these cables are really long. That's perfect because it makes working on cable management so much easier, especially in a huge case as mine, the Corsair 900D. When the PSU is on and you don't draw a lot of power, and I'm speaking of 100 watts here, for example, the fan will not even turn itself on. Therefore, on idle, the fan will not be spinning, which is great in terms of dust. When idling, you therefore don't suck in unnecessary dust and the power supply remains perfectly quiet. Now let's disassemble the DQ1250 and see what components are used. A Yate-Loon 140mm fan is used here. It's the CWT PUO platform, obviously. High quality Japanese Nippon Chemi-Con capacitors are used here, rated at 105 degrees Celsius. The capacitors have a capacity of 560 microfarad and a dielectric strength of 400 volts. When summing up the amps of the 12 volt rails, you get a total of 110 amps, which definitely is more than enough for multi-GPU configurations. And this now answers the question about cheating. The DeepCool DQ1250 PSU has real components inside of it, and there's no cheating. These are heavy duty components that should perform really well and last long as well. DeepCool backs this power supply up with a 5-year warranty. I've also ran some voltage stability tests to see the rail performance, and as you can see, the DeepCool DQ1250 performs really well here. And as for efficiency, at pretty much all loads, it stays above 90%, and that's a clear pass for the 80+ Platinum certification. The DeepCool Quanta DQ1250 1250 watt power supply is a beast actually. First of all, it delivers the full power of 1250 watts even at extreme temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. The voltages are very stable on all rails, and in terms of efficiency, it lives up to my expectations of the 80+ Platinum certification. To make it short, it's super efficient. The DQ1250 PSU uses high quality components, and DeepCool really stands behind their product with a long warranty of 5 years. You get lots of connectors, and you can for sure run some awesome multi-GPU configurations with this PSU. The fan, even on load, remains fairly quiet in my opinion, and if you're running on low loads, the fan will not even turn itself on. The cables are long enough, and the flat ribbon cables are super long actually, which really impressed me. I personally also care about aesthetics, even when it comes to power supplies. This DeepCool DQ1250, in all honesty, so far is the most beautiful PSU I've seen so far, inside and outside. The DQ1250 also comes in at a fairly attractive price point of only 220 euros. That's amazing for what you get actually. Very good price performance ratio as well. I love that power supply, and it immediately went into my main system. I can definitely recommend this DeepCool Quanta DQ1250 1250 watt power supply. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and visit nicholas11x12techx.com to see videos there earlier than on YouTube.